Imagine this. Tomorrow morning, you wake up, and every pair of shoes you own has disappeared. No sneakers, no sandals, no boots, just your bare feet and the world beneath them. At first, you'd probably panic. The hot pavement would sting. Sharp stones would slow you down. Even a short walk to the nearest store would suddenly feel impossible. But here's something almost no one thinks about. For nearly 99% of human history, this wasn't a challenge. It was simply life. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans walked the earth completely barefoot. They hunted wild animals across endless grasslands. They climbed rocky mountains. They crossed freezing rivers. They escaped predators. They traveled thousands of kilometers without owning a single pair of shoes. So the real mystery isn't, how did they survive? The real mystery is, why were shoes unnecessary for so long? To answer that question, we have to travel back, long before cities, long before roads, and long before civilization itself. Picture the world 200,000 years ago. There were no sidewalks, no concrete, no houses, only forests stretching beyond the horizon, open grasslands filled with wildlife, towering mountains, fast-moving rivers, burning deserts. Every step was unpredictable. The ground beneath your feet constantly changed. Soft mud, rough stones, tree roots, wet grass, hot sand, cold water. Ancient humans couldn't ignore the ground. They had to understand it. Every surface carried information. Fresh footprints could mean food. Broken branches could warn of danger. Loose rocks could cause a fall. Even the temperature of the ground told a story about the world around them. Their feet weren't just helping them walk. They were helping them survive. Today, many people believe human feet are naturally weak, but evolution tells a completely different story. Each foot contains 26 bones, 33 joints, and more than 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments working together like a perfectly engineered machine. It's one of the most remarkable structures in the human body. Every step ancient humans took made it stronger. Unlike us, they didn't spend their childhood walking on smooth floors. They grew up running across uneven landscapes every single day. Their feet adapted naturally. Their balance improved. Their muscles became stronger. Their brains learned to react faster. Walking wasn't exercise. It wasn't a fitness routine. It was life itself. Nature became their teacher. Every sharp rock taught caution. Every slippery river taught balance. Every steep hill built strength. Without realizing it, they were training every single day. Not for a marathon, not for a competition, but simply to stay alive. And here's the surprising part. Scientists today are discovering that the human foot was never designed to be passive. It was designed to move, to bend, to grip, and to constantly communicate with the brain. In other words, our ancestors weren't extraordinary. They simply allowed their bodies to do what evolution had spent millions of years preparing them to do. But if walking barefoot made humans stronger, if our feet were already perfectly designed for the natural world, then one question remains. Why did humans ever decide to cover them with shoes? Because the answer changed the relationship between humans and the earth forever. So, if the human foot was already perfectly adapted for the natural world, why did humans invent shoes? The answer begins with a single word: migration. As small groups of humans left the warm landscapes of Africa, they entered places their ancestors had never known. Snow-covered valleys, frozen rivers, sharp volcanic rock, endless deserts, dense forests filled with thorns. For the first time, the ground itself became an enemy. Walking barefoot across these environments wasn't a test of strength. It was a risk to survival. So humans did what humans have always done. They adapted. The earliest shoes were surprisingly simple. pieces of animal hide wrapped around the feet, plant fibers woven together, simple bark sandals. They weren't designed to look good. They weren't symbols of wealth. They were tools. Just enough protection to help people survive one more journey. It was a brilliant invention. But every invention changes the people who use it. When a tool begins doing part of your body's job, your body slowly begins to do less of that job itself. Think about an arm in a cast. If it isn't used for weeks, its muscles become weaker. The same principle applies throughout the body. Our bodies constantly adapt to the lives we live. Modern shoes protect us from broken glass, extreme temperatures, rough roads, and dangerous terrain. Without them, cities would be difficult places to walk. Shoes are not the problem. For many situations, they are one of humanity's greatest inventions. The problem begins when comfort completely replaces challenge. Ancient humans didn't strengthen their feet in a gym. They strengthened them by living.